This video is about toxic players in World of Tanks. And I'm going to tell you the history ever since I started up until the current day. So when I first started, it was 2013. And what happened was people in the chat would, they would yell and scream at each other. And there was a little bit of fun in it. And I guess people didn't enjoy something somewhere. And eventually they said, "Oh, we're reading all of your chats and we know that you're all toxic or something." And they took away the open chat and they made it so that you can only chat with your own team. I didn't really care so much because I'm not a 5-year-old and sticks and stones don't hurt me. So, one of the other things that would happen is other players were constantly bumping into you, especially if you played SPG. They'd push you into the corner. And it's really toxic because you might have 3 people on your team who aren't playing, and you would lose the game. And if the enemy shows up, they'll go after the enemy and they'll stop being toxic, but they could ruin the game for your team. And often they're doing it to make a funny YouTube video. There was one thing you could do. There was a trick where you could make an SPG explode. Maybe it worked with any vehicle that fired HE rounds, where you would cross your gun barrels. And there were times when I'd be playing and all of a sudden it wasn't aiming and I'd realize that somebody was pushing my tank. So they got rid of it because you could report other players, and if you damaged other players, you would turn blue. It still happens, pushing people around, but it really doesn't happen so much anymore because now, if it happens, someone's going to record it. They're going to send it to Wargaming, and then you'll receive a spanking or whatever. So they did the thing where you do team damage. For example, there's a game where I got like 10 kills, and it seemed like somebody on my team was shooting at me. And when you watch the replay, he says that I killed his friend or something like that. That's why he's shooting at me. It was one of my allies. And he was trying to stop me from getting all the final kills in the game. And you used to be able to kill your allies. And you could do it a few times before you got banned. Or maybe you never got banned. And then they did this thing where you would turn blue, and if you turned blue, everybody could kill you. And it was often like the game would start and you'd be blue, so everybody would just kill you. It was dumb stuff like that, and you'd have to tell your allies, stop being a dick. And the sad part is people didn't care. I was like the only one who would be, just because a guy spawned in blue, why you got to shoot him? Why don't you just play? Why can't you just play? So then they took away team damage. So you couldn't shoot your allies. But before they took away the team damage, people knew they were getting banned, so they would pretend they're going to shoot at you. So a tank, you might slightly nudge a vehicle like a Churchill. You wonder why I'm mentioning this on the map Ensk. And then they pretend that they're going to kill you, and they'll put in chat, "I'm going to kill you right now." And then they'll turn their gun around slowly, and they'll pretend that they're aiming, and they won't fire the gun because they're trying to get you to shoot at them because they know they don't want to turn blue. Because you could literally be locked out of the game. I've seen tanks that just freeze up because they get banned while they're playing. So what they'll do is they'll bump you and they'll fire at you, but they'll miss, or they'll just shoot your track so it doesn't do any damage, or they'll shoot you somewhere where they know it will just bounce off, trying to get you to shoot them back. It was very common. People were trying to trick others. So they got rid of the team damage, and that stopped, and a lot of toxicity went away. And once they cleaned it up in the game, you would get messages after the battle from your allies. They would say, "Hi, I have a question for you. What's it like being autistic?" That was like the number one thing that I would hear over and over again. Like I had one 2 weeks ago where the guy said, "You played that tank and you sat at the base the whole game and you did 0 damage." And I responded back saying, "My game crashed and I loaded back in and it crashed again, and I loaded it back in and then the game was over. What do you want me to do?" And then they said, "Well, you're doing a disservice to your team because you're playing on a bad internet connection." It's like, shut the F up, So you would get these chat harassments, and then it got to the point where I would just play games with them, and if they said something to me in chat, I would say something like, "I'm the one who saved your life. You know, why you complaining to me? It was the other guy who did it." You know, I would just goof around with them. But, you know, I could care less. Sticks and stones. I'm not a kindergartner. So then people will harass you everywhere else. They'll harass you in the forums. They'll harass you on other forums. They'll harass you on Twitch. They'll harass you on YouTube. So let's start with Twitch. I'm not a big Twitch person. I only used it a few times. You know, I prefer to watch YouTube videos. Twitch is way more boring than YouTube. And one day I was streaming ranked battles, and all of a sudden there's 150 people. Normally I have like 4 or 5. And some guy did something, I guess it's called a raid. I don't know exactly how it works, but I guess what happens is if you're going to sign off, you send all your viewers to another channel. And there's 150 people, and I'm only looking between games. When I'm playing, I don't see what they're chatting, but I might pretend that I'm chatting with them, right? And 90% of the comments were, "What's your religion? What's your politics? Who'd you vote for?" You know, and they're all trying to rile you up. I'm not a child, you know. I'm 50 years old. I've seen this before. I started using internet chat 30 years ago. IRC, Internet Relay Chat, it was called. And we would just sit there and joke around and goof around. Talking about 1990. And I probably used internet chat before on Quantum Link and BitServe and stuff like that. So I was already done with it. After a year, by 1991, I was like, I'm done with this harassing people on chat business. So these people are harassing me, and I tell them, you know, keep it up, so I know who to ban. And anytime they said something stupid, I just banned them. And there were some people that were a little nice. Like they would say, "Do you have a girlfriend?" or whatever. And I remember for some reason I mentioned that I'm a fat person, right? And somebody said, "Yeah, you know, he's fat. He knows what it feels like, etc." And you know, some of the people stuck around and they still follow my YouTube channel, but the majority of them, they were just being a-holes. And it gives you a bad impression of not only Twits, whatever it's called, Twits, but also the streamer. He's a good-looking guy. I don't know what his name was. It was like Ronnie or something. A really good-looking guy, and his followers are a-holes. And I'm going to tell you, there's a guy, Mr. Beetlebum. He had nice followers. Conversation was nice. And I actually went in there and I said to Mr. Beetlebum, I said, you know, it's refreshing that you're a nice guy and that you don't have people hating on everybody. So then other forums, everyone thinks that they're Unicum. They all think they're purple players and they got 90% win rates because they're playing overpowered tanks and firing gold rounds, you know. And in games like Frontline, I remember a game where a guy says, "Hey, Cheap Books, I'm a big fan." And then this couple seconds later, tank rams into me. Then like a minute later, I get rammed by another tank. And I said, okay, this guy's obviously ramming me. He's not watching where he's going. But then when I watched the replay, it was the guy who said, "Cheap Books, I'm a fan." And he obviously clearly rammed me twice on purpose. And the second time I tried to avoid him and he went for me, you know? So you got this toxic chat. And you can block people in game. They fixed that. They fixed a lot of things, and they added the anonymizer. I used to get harassed a lot. It was always people saying, "You're the stat patter guy. You're the people that think that all Unicums are stat patters." You know, they just make up all sorts of nonsense. But they can't stop the harassment on YouTube or in the other forums. And I have a YouTube channel where all of a sudden I got like thousands of harassing messages from people who are all stat patters, you know. And they were downvoting all of my videos. If I had 30 views, it would have 30 downvotes. They'd only watch 10 seconds of the video. And they were saying all sorts of nasty things. And they were doing it in the forums. But in the forums, you can complain about them. So in the forums, they started to change their attitude. They'd still harass you, but they would do it in such a way that it doesn't look like they're harassing you. So they're kind of circumventing the harassment rules. Like they would call you an idiot before, get away with it for a couple of months, and then when you say, this guy keeps calling me an idiot, I say, hey, how's your Christmas? And the guy would say, hey, you're an idiot. And you wonder, why aren't they removing these posts? And then you realize, they're not removing this guy's post. He's clearly violating the rules. And I never called anybody an idiot in the forums. I bet you if you go through all of my 1,000 posts, you probably won't find one where I call somebody an idiot. Although I might say you don't know what you're talking about, and I probably said it a few times. I'm not hard on people, even on YouTube, because that stuff's forever. And the other thing is, I periodically go through my YouTube comments and I just delete everything, just in case, because the world's going fascist right now. Wasn't like that when I was a kid. So now you get harassment, like in the forums, where they learn they don't call you an idiot. They say whatever you posted was stupid. Oh yeah, you're not stupid, but what you posted was stupid. And there's a lot of people, you go post something, you say, hey, what do you guys think about giving everybody $1 million for Christmas? And you'll see responses, no, 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 and they capitalize it, exclamation. And they say, oh, this is a discussion forum. We could say whatever we want. We're discussing. No, you're not discussing when you just say the word no or when you just say the word wrong. That is not what a discussion is. A discussion means you address an issue and you give your opinion as to why you think it's relevant or right or wrong. That's not what these people do. And I don't care anymore. But what happened was I just stopped reading their replies. And then you know what they do? They complained that I wasn't reading their responses. So I made this post somewhere and this guy responded to me. He said, hey, I made a response to you in another post. Why didn't you respond to it? Like, that other post is 100 pages long. It's got like 10,000 replies. I don't have time to go read them all. And he kept following me around. Anytime I posted anything, he responds saying, how come you don't respond to my post in this other post? It's like, you guys are effing crazy. And the moderators, I'm just going to say it, they are not good moderators in the forums. They all need to go. They either have favoritism or they don't care about the company or they don't care about the customers. You understand what I mean? Because when you farm it out to another company and it's not your employees, the forums client is wargaming. They don't care about the players. They could give a fuck about the players. I'm being nice in this video. And if they pick, well, we've got an old player who's been around. You know how many players are obsessed with stat padding? It's so rampant in the game that don't get rid of the stats, but get rid of the people demeaning others about stats. And I always say we'll just continue. So when you hire players that have a lot of experience, they might be a-holes. I would say hire players that have a little bit of experience that aren't going to be dicks to everybody. And the other thing is, customer service, they're not filled with people that have rocket science degrees. You're talking about people that don't want to do that job. They got that job because nobody else wants to do it, and for some reason they can't find another job. And they're young people. When I was young, I did stupid things too. We all do. The nicest people in the world, you're going to find them in the older group, like the 70-year-olds. Like, I had a clan, and this guy joined in and said, hey, how you guys doing? And this young kid said, we don't want you. Get out of here. You're not cool. And I had to say, hey. I was like 38 at the time. The other guy was like 18. I said, no, you can play. You can play with us. It was an older guy. It sounded like he just retired from 20 years of military service, right? And I would like to be in a clan like that. Maybe I will switch my clans to get in a clan like that just to be around people who are older because they probably don't bitch, It doesn't matter because I don't play the game anymore. I just don't like clicking the battle button anymore. I really don't want to play anymore. It's not fun for me anymore. And it was the toxicity, the bad attitudes from customer support. I got customer support tickets. They just don't respond to them. They close the ticket or they keep it pending forever. They just don't respond. And I had a company, I had 50 employees, 5 people, customer service, answered the phones, and I taught them the same thing that I did. When you answer the phone and the customer bitches at you, you say, I'm going to help you with that, and then you help them with that. And if you can't help them, you come and you get me, and I will fix it. And that's the way you did it. So the video is about toxicity. And I know they can fix it. There's lots of ways to fix it. And the evidence is all in the forums. But I don't want to be the type of guy who has to screenshot everything and build up compilations over months of time of players, harassing people. I don't want to do that. And it's Wargaming's job. You write a code to look for the word stupid in all the messages and see which players say the word stupid the most or idiot, and it makes the job easier. And I use IP Board, which is the forum, I own it, the forum that Wargaming uses. I've written code for it. I know how it works. It's easy to do. Just like any other, I just had an idea for a software application. Just like any other forum. Easy to do. So, it's a problem that they will have to figure out if they want to do it. I'm sure they'll figure it out someday. But there was a guy with 13,000 posts, and he made a post that said, what's the deal with the toxicity, with the moderators who allow some players to harass others? They allow bullying, and the moderators don't do anything about it, but then he gets a ban for something stupid. You know when it happens to me? If I don't use the forum for a long time, let's say a couple of months go by, and I go and post something, I'll get banned. But if I'm posting like every day for a couple of weeks, they don't ban me. I don't know why, but that's what's happening. I think what's happening is players see my name, they go look at the post, report it, and then they just report everything that I post. I think that's what's going on. I had a guy who called me stupid, and I reported him 4 times over the course of 2 weeks. They never deleted the post. And he was the guy who was harassing me the most. I even sent him an email. I said, stop harassing me. And he just said no. He said, I'm not going to. And that was it. And he was actually harassing me in other forums and on my YouTube channel. And you know what? I'm not a bad guy. If this guy's the worst guy, the most toxic player, I would not ban him from the game. I would just tell him, all of your posts got to be pre-approved, because that's a feature of the forum. I don't know why they didn't turn it on. There's a feature of the forum where you can make it so if somebody makes a post, a moderator has to approve it. But, it's more work for the moderator. They don't want to do it. They just want to ban because they're a bunch of fascist Nazis. So instead of doing that, what I would do is just tell the guy, play the game. I don't care if you pay or if you don't pay. I don't care if you're a free player. Just play the game. And maybe you'll be limited from posting, or maybe why don't they you could literally write a script. I used to do this that goes through all the forum messages, looks for the word stupid, and marks the post for moderation. And that's it. And then anybody who says a word that's a bully word gets their post set for moderation, means it's not visible till the moderator looks at it, which should be within a few minutes. They're not doing anything all day. There's not that many posts in the forums. I mean, I go to the EU forum, it's like there's no discussion there. And they over-moderate in the EU forum. It's like, we're moving this to here, we're moving that to here. And it was like, I'm reading these posts, it's like nobody's posting anything. It's like it's a dead forum. Even in the Asia forum, there was this one time this moderator said, I warned you. And I said, when did you warn me? And he wrote it in red as a reply in the thread. And I was like, I didn't go back and see that. I violated one of their carnal rules. I posted a video in the tutorial section that he considered to not be a tutorial or something like that. It was just something dumb. It should be an online streaming because you didn't say why your technique works. F you, man. I did say why. It works because I tried different ways, and that's the way that worked. That's what I said in the video. I didn't get out the calculator and do mathematical computations with this one. They're just a bunch of whack jobs. They got nothing better to do. Okay. So, like, I had my own forum. 99% of the content was garbage. And I had to write scripts, if it wasn't in English, it would delete, like if it was in Cyrillic, or if people posted porn sites, all that stuff got automatically deleted within like a minute or two. It's easy to write the script. You just put in the word you want or the domain name, and it moderated it automatically for me. And I had my own forum. It was forum.cheapbooks.com. I don't think it's live anymore because the database got corrupted. And at the time, I had not written the program to automatically clean the database, and I didn't have backups for some reason. Now I've got everything to automatically clean the database, to do backups, to rebuild, but I didn't have it. And so I just was like, dump the database. It wasn't worth keeping. And, I've had to do it many times. But there's toxicity in the game World of Tanks. I'm just telling you a little bit about the history. They've made a lot of progress. It's way better now than it was before, but it does chase away some of the younger viewers, the younger players. It chases away the newer players, and it chases away maybe some of the older players. We had people that were very religious in our clan, and like their names were like pastor, and I don't remember the other names, but they had religious names, and they told me that they were part of like some religious group or something. I don't remember what it was. They were young, and they don't want to hear people swearing, and they would say, please don't swear. They would say things like that. And we had people in the clan I had to kick out. It was sad. I had to kick them out. Young kids, because they don't know any better. They don't know any better. And I understand they're having fun, they're goofing around, stuff like that. They didn't have a complete disruption. I'm going to tell you another thing that happened in World of Tanks. In the training rooms, people will harass you in the training rooms because you can, I don't know if you can still do it, but you used to be able to chat with people that are not in the training room. So you'd be in the training room and you'd start to hear music playing, or they'd play cartoon characters, or they'd just start swearing at you, or they'd pretend, they'd say, oh, I'm going to shoot you, but they're not in the game, and they're not even watching. They're just in the lobby, they call it, playing some audio file and harassing people. And what I literally had to do is I had to play my second account on my second computer, which was sitting next to my main computer, and I would say, the username out loud, beef butt effer, let's say, butt licker. And I'd say, hey, butt licker, I got somebody keeping an eye on things for me. So he would know that I knew that he did it because they would go play it and they know it's going to be a while before the game's over. So they'd be gone, or by the time you're out of the game, or when they see you're out of the game and you enter the lobby, they would just run off. Or you wouldn't know because there's so many people. There'd be like 30 people. You don't know which guy it was. So I would be like, I made a screenshot. I made a recording of what you said. I'm going to send it to customer support. And they still wouldn't go away until I played. I said, hold on, guys. I'm going to play the recording. And I would play the recording and I would say, I know you did this. And that was what I finally did just to silence them. But it's better to convince people to get along than to ban everybody and close people's accounts. Especially when you got people putting money in the game, you're just being like them. You're just bullying them back, is what you're doing. And I became a person. I'm going to tell you the story. One day, I was living in Long Island. When you live in Long Island, you work in New York City. You got to drive an hour and a half on the highway. Every day is a bad day. There's always heavy traffic, people cutting you off, middle fingers, all that stuff. And one day, I took a side road, and this woman blocked the road in front of me. She pulled out of the driveway, big SUV, blocked the entire road, got out of her car, came over to my window, and yelled at me. Don't you see the sign, no right turn, or something like that? And because they don't want traffic going through their neighborhood. Because they're literally on the highway, on what's called the service road, a couple houses in. She had a baby in the car. She didn't come up to my window. A man would have come up to the window. She pretended she was going to, but when I, looked out the window at her, she stopped and she started yelling at me. She said, "Don't you see the sign?" She said, made some comment like that. She didn't really say anything more. She probably just said, "Don't you see the sign?" I did. And you know what? I don't think it was a state sign. I think it was a sign they put up on their own, because you don't have to follow a sign that some person put up. The state signs, I know what they look like. It was a fake sign. So what I did, I just stepped on the gas, went around her. The way she was standing and the way she blocked the road, I was able to go around her, and I left. And that was the day I said, I'm not going to fight with people. I'm not going to spend all day long frustrated over what this woman did, and I forgot about it. I still remember that it happened. I'm not angry about it. I really don't care. I'm just using it as an example of the day that triggered me. I was probably like 25 years old. And I was like, don't let someone who is a stranger ruin the rest of your life. You're never going to see this person again. Just let it go. It's different in the forums when, 3 years go by and the same person's harassing you like clockwork, and you complain about him repeatedly and they don't do anything. Customer service claims that they don't get involved. That's what they told me more than once. The moderators don't respond. They don't do anything, etc. So, there's toxicity in the game. It's better than it was before. And I realized something. I went back and started playing other games that I like playing, like Cities in Motion 2. No toxicity. You know why? Because there's no chat. And I even play Elite. Elite has chat. I just never use it. There was never a purpose. I never felt like there was a purpose to use the chat in Elite Dangerous. And for some reason, maybe because it's a free-to-play game, maybe the free players are the ones that are doing it. I don't think a person who pays has less incentive to be toxic towards other players, because they're paying money for the experience. Some of the toxic players, they open a new account and they go harass people, and they don't care if the account gets closed. I mean, all you got to do is say new accounts can't chat in the forum. They actually do have rules like that. New accounts automatically moderate all your posts. New accounts can access open chat for a period of time, either days or battles. You should combine both, because if you do one, they'll just outsmart you. If you do days, they'll just open the account and save it for later. And if you do battles, they'll just do all the battles as quickly as possible, so that it'll be a week or so before you catch on to them. You know what I mean? These people will work around all your little ways that you do things. And I think that they'll make it better. And the good thing about them solving these problems is that they actually have multiple games like World of Warplanes, World of Warships. The fix for World of Tanks will also fix the other games. It'll be the same fix. To be honest, I think they should restore the open chat and just tell people, as long as you guys are cool, you get open chat. If we feel that it's not cool anymore, it'll be disabled, or temporarily disabled, or disabled for the battle. I think they got a little bit of thinking to do, a little bit of work to do. And you know what? They should send out a survey to all the players. Have you been harassed in the game? Have the forum moderators allowed people to bully you? Has a certain person bullied you? Did customer support help you? Send that email out. Hire somebody to go through all the responses independent of the company. Make a report. Send it to the people in the company that fix the problem, and anyone who pays for the report to be made, obviously. And then you compile a list. Well, here's the problems people are having. Here's how we can fix it without making it sound like we're a bunch of a-holes, They're not that bad. They did a lot of things right, but in the forums, the banning, and in the customer service where they just don't respond to you, or they'll say things like, I got a permanent ban in the EU forums because I went and posted something. Someone was saying, how come this guy has 4 tier 10 tanks and nothing else? And this guy said, well, you play team battles, you rake up a ton of experience. It doesn't show up in your random battles. And I said I was playing Frontline, and I realized how easy it is to play the Scorpion G. You just point and click. I got my post deleted. And I was like, how come I get deleted? Off topic. How come the team battle guy isn't off topic? They don't even have team battles anymore. Before he posted before me, how come she missed it? I say she because of the name. And I'm like, what about the other guy who's talking about World of Warplanes? What does that have to do with World of Tanks? Those aren't off topic. Why am I the one being blocked? They see the name Cheap Books, they report it, and then it goes and gets blocked, and they don't give a damn. And it didn't happen one time. It's happened so many times that it's just an insult and a joke, especially because on the World of Tank forums, I've made 1,100 posts. 99% are bug fixes, feedback, suggestions for the game, tutorial videos, ideas to help people. Not nonsense chit chat. The moderators know that. Why are they banning me and blocking me? They are just insane, is the reason why. In fact, there was a guy named Cabbage Mechanic. I was on his, I chose to be on his team about a year ago when they did some sort of a streamer battle. I was on the Cabbage Mechanic team. So I've got some tanks that have like this cute Cabbage Mechanic logo and maybe camouflage or something. And I guess the guy said the same thing. Like a week ago, he said the workplace is toxic and he wanted to quit. And we don't know what's going on in the workplace, but he said, guess what he does? Community manager. He is surrounded by people that are probably very young, 18-year-olds, people that didn't go to college, people that unable to go to college for whatever reason. Like if you move to another city and you can't get a job, you got to. I thought about going back to working at Burger King. When I move, I'm gonna, when I move back to the United States, it's gonna cost more money to have an apartment and a car. I might have to get a job, and I thought just go to Burger King. I already know what to do. And you know what? I worked at a pottery place a couple years ago just because I was bored. Because I haven't been employed for like 20 years. I was getting bored, so I worked at this pottery store during the Christmas season. Could not believe the bullshit with the other managers. Customers were fine, but the other employees were full of shit. I mean, they complained about the way I folded paper. They said I was folding paper wrong. I'm like, you're a fucking psycho. Or they demanded that I pull the stickers off the pottery, put it on the table, and then scan each one because otherwise you're going to do it wrong. I said, this is completely idiotic. I can scan the tickets on 3 items without screwing it up. And they didn't like the fact that I didn't pull the stickers off. And the stickers will say things like love vase or bottle of joy. And it's like, what the fuck? Which one is the love vase? Which one is the fantasy bowl? You mean you don't know which one is which? And some of them are $10 and some are $500. Customer says they don't want it. I mean, don't take the stickers off until after you zap it with a little scanner thingy. So I was like, I had enough of this. I ain't gonna, I did this hoping to be around people to have fun chatting with. And that wasn't the way it was. They were weirdos. And then you hear managers telling me to lie to the other managers. I was like, enough. I worked, and the workplace was a little toxic, not that bad. But the managers don't want to do the work. They lie. They don't want to be honest to the clients. They don't want to do any work. They kill projects. Toxicity is everywhere. I don't know if it's just the United States. So I'm Italian, but I did grow up in the United States. So I remember the school system where kids didn't care about doing schoolwork. They made fun of the smart kids like me. I'm super nerd. I was afraid to raise my hand in class because the kids would always laugh at me if I made a mistake, which was, once every couple of years or so. And, I like to joke around, right? So there's toxicity in online games, and the only solution for the player is to just get over it. And to learn to live with it, which I do. Trust me. I don't get as angry as I should about all the harassment I've gotten. And Contact customer support. They ain't going to help you. Post in the feedback section. There's I don't know if every region has a feedback section, but post in the feedback section, you know, whatever your message is. And I'm going to tell you, it doesn't matter if you're polite or not. If you're polite, it's not like they're going to solve the problem faster or whatever. They don't care either way. I used to deal with companies like Amazon and Google and eBay. Big companies, they paid me a lot of money. They could give a shit about me. And the customer support couldn't give a shit about me. The seller support couldn't give a shit about me. And no matter how much I said, look at all the money I make, they could give a damn. And one thing I learned is that when you're nice to them, they just don't respond. I used to be so nice to everybody, and they just don't respond. And when you're mean to them, they respond, but they don't do anything. What I learned is they respond, but they don't do anything about it. So you got to do the equal balance. You got to make sure when you complain about toxic behavior that it's constructive, meaning you provide some sort of evidence that the behavior is toxic. You either get a screenshot, replay video. You make it easy for them. You can't just say, "Here's a replay. Somebody's toxic in it." You make it as easy for them. And like with Frontline, I must have sent them like 50 messages to customer support about people cheating in the game, and they did nothing about it. And they're still cheating in the game. They never changed it because people want to win the reward tanks. There's a reason why it happened is because the way the system works is they cannot calculate your experience in the game until after the game is over. So that's the reason why people get away with it. They can't penalize you for intentionally losing in the game because they don't know that you're losing. You understand what I mean? They don't know that one team is allowing the other team to cap. How do they know? So they don't know to penalize you for EXP to prevent you from doing it. Okay, so the other thing is when you report toxic behavior, make sure you have the evidence, make sure you post it in the right place. You post it in general discussion if you want other people to be aware of what's going on, but you put it in the feedback if you want somebody in the company to get it. Customer support, not so much, as far as I know. My opinion, customer support probably makes it to the company, but they can just as well kill it. And you won't know about it. With the forums, I think somebody at the headquarters reads the suggestions, or it gets, maybe they've got a forwarding system where people are forwarding suggestions. I don't know. But you got to post it in the right place. And like if you post it on an independent company's forum, they might not ever see it. Provide all the information, post it in the right place. If they don't do anything about it, I don't know what to tell you. I will tell you that I got less toxic behavior on the EU forums than in the NA forums. In the NA forums, they were brutal. And not only that, on the EU forums, the EU customer service, they were very nice to me. If I said, hey, there's a bug in the game, they were very polite and they said, oh, thank you. We'll make sure the right person gets it. On the NA server, they were like, don't send us anything. We don't want this. Unless you got a problem with billing, we don't want to hear it. You only post this in the forums. But how do we know if we post it in the forums that anybody's going to see it? They literally told me in customer support not to send them ideas or bug reports, etc. EU, very happy to receive it. Now, there's always going to be someone who's going to say, well, some people swear because I don't swear if something happens for the first time, but if it's repeatedly happening, I'll swear at people. And I stand by my right to swear at people to the day I die. You know what? I have yet to get a single message from Wargaming or World of Tanks or any of their forum moderators or customer support that says, I love you. I have yet to get that. They do not send me messages expressing happiness, love, and joy. Never happens. That Don't complain if someone says something that you don't like. You want people to be nice to you, be nice back to us. Because to be honest, they're sending us informative messages, but they're not telling us how much they love us. They're not saying things like, "We love you so much. The $5,000 you spent on this game, we love you so much. Thank you for being a loyal customer." I have yet to get that message. Have yet to get the message saying thank you for all the bug reports. For example, the spotting one, I was the one who pushed it. It was nobody believed it. Everybody said I didn't understand spotting mechanics until I made a video where I hit a tank in a bush, drove across the map, rammed it, and it still wasn't spotted until I had pushed it, like 100 meters, and then it appears as a dead tank. And that was finally when they did something about it. They never said, "Hey, thank you. We love you for this. You really helped us. It opened up our developers' eyes. We got to see and understand the problem in action." And I made another one where I hit a tank behind a building within the proximity spotting range. And I showed that when I got there, within the 50 meters, you couldn't see the tank. And I went through and I measured. It was 26 meters. I did all that work. No, thank you. There was no thank you, we love you. Never happened. It was, you don't understand the mechanics of the game. You don't understand the mechanics of the game. You're a name shamer. You're name shaming me. All sorts of effing nonsense. And then all the moderators and all these other people, like, who the hell are these people? Telling me I don't understand mechanics of the game. F it, man. I understand the mechanics of, I'm a computer programmer. I mean, I understand this shit. Been using computers every day since 1982, and that wasn't even the first time I used computers. The other thing, what was I saying? I was talking about, I was like saying, they never say they love us. We give them money. We contribute to the player base. I make tutorial videos. The focus of my website is tutorial videos, where I am literally helping other players learn how to play the game. And if you watch my replays, the majority of them, I'm saying, I'm going to go low here so I don't get spotted. I'm going to go high here because I want to spot these guys. I'm going to knock this bush down so I can use it for hiding. I'm telling people all the techniques I use in almost all of my gameplay videos. And the times that I make fun of players, calling them losers, just joking around. I don't know these guys. And there's so many games where I say this guy's a complete loser, but you look in the chat and I will be telling him how to play. I'll be saying, this guy's a total loser. And then in the chat, I'll say, you should go into this ridge with that tank. Just park there. And if your allies leave, go with them. Something like that. I'll give them advice. But and just for fun in the video, it's an entertainment video. That's the only time I goof around, right? If you watch my older videos from like 5 years ago, you'll see that I don't make fun of players and was never toxic. Just sitting there very quiet in the game, driving around and stuff like that. And I post old videos all the time. And it's rare that I got legitimately angry at another player. And usually it's because you're going to a spot and then they come and they take the spot away from you or something like that. And or if they cause you to die because they do something stupid. And you know what? I lag out of the game so often that I know that there's cases where it happens to other people too. So I try to think, well, maybe this guy just lagged out. I've rammed allies because my game lagged out, So I'm a lighthearted person, and I'm not a toxic player. My, like I said, my YouTube channel is filled tutorials, the gameplay filled with this is how you do this is how you do that. I post them in the forums. They don't welcome it. Like in Asia, they were not interested in me posting my tutorial videos. An EU server, they gave me a hard time. And they sometimes give me a hard time on NA. Not that often. But you know what? They think, oh, you're posting it, you're going to get 1,000 views. You don't get 1,000 views. You get 30, 40, 50 views. If you're lucky, you'll get 100 or something like that. And it's like, don't complain about toxic players if you don't love your players. If you love your players, prove it. Got it? I already gave you some ideas. Say thank you for your contribution to the game as a start. But if you love your players, prove it. Banning them is not proof. It's proof of the opposite. Ignoring them is also proof that you do not love your players. If you love your players, prove it. I founded my company. It's my personal belief that someone who founds his company probably loves it more than anybody else. They really do. And they often don't like it when there's a toxic player. But then they're going to say, well, I also love my employees and I don't like you talking down to my employees. It's like, well, your employees are talking down to me. And the employee doesn't say, the employee doesn't go and say, this player swore at me for no reason. They don't say, oh, I banned him for no reason, and then he swore at me. They always remove the part where they did something wrong. So, oh yeah, don't worry, I permanently banned him. That's a solution. Oh yeah, the guy who posts all the bug fixes and all the suggestions, who wants to make the game a better game. Yeah, I banned him permanently from the forum. Give me a raise. So, like I said, wargaming, it goes both ways. If you love your players, show it. And all the toxic players out there, they all have to go through the learning experience on their own. Maybe you could come up with some grand way. You know what? You got like that girl Commander AF, and there's others. They could do a video about toxicity in the game and convincing people to ease up a little, and telling players, some people are toxic because they don't know any better. Some people are toxic because they're malicious. There's a difference between the two. You let wargaming take care of the malicious ones, and you know what? You got to do a better job with the toxic players, and you got to do something better. Customer support isn't cutting it. I would make a forum on a page where you upload the replay, you put the player name, and we don't want to go through all these replays looking for what's minute in the game, especially with Frontline. You upload the replay, screenshot, player name. And then what you do is you have your Commander AF say, this is how you do it. You go to the settings, you turn replays on. When it happens, you hit the screenshot button. And I don't know if there's a log. Yeah, there is a chat log. It's in the replay. And you write the guy's name down or something. Or you get it from the screenshot. Oh, you know what? You should probably have somebody type it in. Or grab it from the replay. The player's name is in the... Oh, I guess you'd have to know. So, and then have them upload it and have somebody responsible for toxicity in the game. And come up with a better plan. And consult... You know what? Consult with old people. You don't ask an 18-year-old how to solve this problem. My girlfriend... I'm going to give you an example. The managers were complaining too many people were getting up to use the bathroom, make a sandwich in the office, go pee, get a drink of water, get some coffee. And I didn't notice it as a problem. I don't understand why they thought it was a problem. We had 50 employees in the office. And my girlfriend said, take away their rights. And I said, no, that's not how you do it. You put the water machine in an easy place to find. We didn't have a water machine. They told me it was impossible to buy one. So you buy a water machine, drink machine, so that they can get a drink and put it so that they don't have to go to the kitchen. Or set a table out with a coffee machine. They can pour their own coffee. We had 2 maids. I said, have the maids go around every day giving drinks to everybody and coffee. And we had a maintenance guy, and the 3 of them worked together on this. And they would make sandwiches for people. And for some reason, they love crackers with their coffee. I don't know why. And the other thing, I was like, okay, 10:30, 2 o'clock, 15-minute break, all employees. You can do whatever you want. You can go smoke. Sometimes they smoke things they weren't supposed to. You can go make a sandwich. You can use your right to use the bathrooms. So you can't deny someone the right to use the bathroom. It's a dumb idea. That's how you solve it. I came up with a good solution, and they were so happy. 10:30, you'd see everybody get up and walk out the door and go outside and chit chat. And at 2 o'clock, they did the same thing. And it fixed the problem with the company where people didn't get their sandwich. Like one kid, I call him a kid, he was like 18 at the time. He said to me, he said, I don't have money for breakfast. And I, I missed the bus. They also have to walk a long distance. Where the bus drops them off, they got to walk, got to be a good 2 miles or a mile uphill. And he wanted to make a sandwich. And they were saying no more sandwiches. I said, no. Just let him make the sandwich. As long as it's right after he gets into work between 8 and 8:15, let him make the sandwich. And we had the maids go bring sandwiches to everybody that wanted them. And never asked me for a sandwich, never asked me for a drink. Shows you how much they respect the boss. So there's the obvious solution, and then there's the best solution. And everybody always uses the obvious solution, which is ban everybody, silence everybody. That's what the fascists do. You don't want to go this route. The world is becoming more fascist everywhere. Was not like that when I was a kid. This is a long video, 50 minutes. The way to fix it is to have a better solution. Differentiate between people that don't know any better and people that are malicious. Make sure that the people who support you, you don't attack them. You listen to people who tell you things that are informative. If I send somebody, this person is harassing me, these moderators, I reported it 4 times, this is what it said, that's information. You don't ignore that. Never got a message saying, we're going to look into this, why this guy did it. Never is going to happen. It's going to be, oh yeah, we're going to fix it. We ain't going to, no, we may or may not fix it. And you're never going to know. Those are bad at it because they all think they're going to get sued or something. Oh, come on. Okay, I think I've said enough. I love all of my viewers. Hey, you know what? Des Games does say it, doesn't he? He says something cool at the end. I don't know what he says. Okay, so I'll see you guys later. Hey, hey, hey!